Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. It would really help us out. Now, let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. So excited today. I've got Danielle Larracuente with me. So welcome, Danielle.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so happy that you decided to do the show. Big fan of Bosch.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's big stuff.
My father loved the books. So he was a big fan of the books. So I was like, well, when the original show came out, I was like, hey, Dad, we can watch this show together. And he's like, nah, I've already read the books.
Oh no. So he didn't watch?
So he didn't watch. But I got hooked.
Well, you know what's good? A lot of times I feel like books that turn into TV shows, then they'll go off and do their own thing or spin off. What I like about this series is they follow the book really closely. So I think it's really amazing. And the new season's amazing too. So of course,
oh my gosh. I know. I watched it very quickly because I'm not really a binge watcher. I kind of like the weekly thing, but it was so good I couldn't help it.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, season 1 is all the way out, and we did get signed on for a second season, so really excited about that.
And it brought some of the characters from the original, which was awesome, continued the story. And then it had, a bunch of you new guys that were just terrific, really added to the season, I thought.
Us boots, as they call them, or rookie cops.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we had Denise Sanchez came on. So you are second. Well, she wasn't a rookie cop, though. She was a training officer.
She does not play on that show, let me tell you. A lot of the times, like, she would say things that we're cracking up because I'm like, dang, girl. She is no joke. And she's like the sweetest and most beautiful person ever. I love her so much. Very talented as well.
Yeah, when she wants to, though, she can be a little intimidating.
You know what? I have a feeling that may come from just being Latina, but I don't know. I have that too. It's like I'm the most bubbly yet, but like, hey, it's like the eye. And also, I'll disclose I'm a mom as well. So I never thought that I would give the look to my son, and it came recently. It was
boy.
Just
I feel for him. Moms never lose that look. Like my mother still gives me that look on occasion, and I straighten up.
Yes. My son was like, it was like, wow, I have the look.
Did he cry the first time? Because it's scary the first time.
I think he was a little shocked.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, mom's not playing anymore.
How old is he?
5. He's 5 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just did preschool, just graduated from that. He's very excited. He didn't realize that he has a summer break. So he's like, all right, so tomorrow we're going to kindergarten. I'm like, whoa. Chill out. I need to breathe. I need to relax.
That's good though, that he liked it. He's still wanting to go.
He loves school, which is amazing. Yeah, he has a really good time. And he thinks his preschool teacher's coming with him. I'll break those news later.
It's a learning curve.
He's like, yeah, Miss Olgin's gonna come. I'm like, oh, all right. We'll talk about that in September.
See, I'm in the grandparent stage. So I've got 4 grandkids, but they're young. The oldest is just 3.
So you spoil rotten. That's what's going on here.
Listen, I love being a parent. Grandparents so much better.
Oh.
Because that's what you do. You there's no discipline. It's just spoil and then send them home to let the parents, deal with the consequences.
Awful. My mom was staying with me like a couple of days ago for about 3 days. And I caught her like brushing his teeth. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I just like the way she does it. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's spoiling him.
Rotten. Yeah. Totally rotten.
Has she bought him like the obnoxious, noisy toy yet and sent it home with him?
Oh, yeah. Everything. Yeah. She brings him every time he goes to visit. All of a sudden, he has like a little bag and it's all toys. And I'm like, where are we going to fit this? And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, shoves it in places in my house. I'm like, What am I going to do? And I'm like constantly like, we need to talk. My dad too. I'm like, we need to talk.
And isn't it funny that I'm sure they were not that way with you growing up.
Well, interestingly enough, my parents are both retired police officers.
Oh boy.
NYPD. They were no joke. And I mean, such a beautiful moment. Referencing back to Bosch, I got to play LAPD officer on Bosch. So huge moment for me and my family and my parents. And no, they were strict, very strict. And I'm like, who is this person? Where did they come from? Because I definitely didn't get a toy every day.
Yeah, I know. That's the way it goes. Yeah. Now you have your time. One of these days, then it'll be your turn to spoil.
Oh, and I'm going to be so bad. So bad.
Were they, so I'm sure they were like super excited that you got the role, but were they like impressed with how they portrayed the rookie police officer, or were they like, this could have been done this way?
Well, honestly, and I was like nervous for that because like even like, don't come for me, Law and Order, but my dad and my mom are like, we wouldn't do that, or we wouldn't do that. And then I'm like, I hate watching Law and Order with you. Go in the other room because they're so particular, but like they are so amazed with this show and how closely, like that's exactly how it goes down. And I feel like they pride themselves, Bosch, with like, we want to make this realistic. This is how it is in the locker room. This is how it is when you get a training officer. These are the things that you go through when you are a boot. You have to like make a name for yourself. You have to learn how to also, you have to, you're protecting and serving, right? So it's like you want to protect your surroundings, always being aware of your surroundings, not always being so open in the beginning when you're coming up to a scene, you know what I mean? Like I can't be my bubbly self. So they were shocked and amazed, and they binged watch. I mean, they had to catch up, so they watched all seven seasons. They could not wait. They didn't even wait for me to watch the new season.
They're excited.
This is rude, okay? I have to disclose that. Thank God, they get to give me little pointers, and coming from my mom, who's a Latina woman who was a police officer, and then my dad, totally different perspectives, which was really cool because my dad was like very about technical things and like making sure, being aware of your surroundings, like always making sure you watch your six, they call it, or watch your back. When you go up to a car, you better touch that trunk. Maybe nothing's going to pop out of there. My mom was a totally different approach.
I like that one. I like the touch. Denise mentioned that one too.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that. I thought that was a neat touch.
Yeah. So with my mom, she was very about, you have to remember that you are a Latina. You're 5'1". My mom's 5 feet. She's like, you're small, so you're gonna get a lot of more bees with honey. She's like, use that to your advantage. It's a really special skill. You don't have to go in there rough and tough and I'm the boss. Like a lot of the times when people are in crisis, they really just want to talk. They want somebody to listen to their side, whether they're right or wrong. And then they need help diffusing the situation. And she's like, I got so much done. Like most of the time, my like partners or whatever, they're like, how the hell did you get that guy in handcuffs? And she's like, I asked him if he could go in handcuffs, like, hey, I know you're upset, but can I and I was like, damn, that's so smart. Like to have that woman touch and like approach situations.
Yeah,
so I learned that. And also the people, we had retired police officers on set helping us every step of the way. They were phenomenal, amazing, and major. I got to ask so many questions, and hey, would I do this? Would I normally do this? How would I stand? Like shoulders back, like, and I thought not being a police, I'm like, oh, I'm going to stand with my shoulders back because I'm a police officer. He's like, actually, no, you wouldn't, because it makes yourself more of a target. Let's say somebody does pull out a gun. You want to be kind of round shouldered and make yourself kind of a small, and when you walk, it's kind of like to the side. So you don't think about stuff like that.
No. So did it help you? When they found out your parents were police officers, did that help you, or did they like expect more from you?
When I already got the role, you mean?
Yeah. Once you're on set.
I waited to disclose that. I did not want the extra pressure.
Because that's what I would think. Like, be like, oh, she already knows everything to do.
Yeah. But I think it was like my second episode in, and I was like, hey guys, you know. And I think they were just really like appreciative, and they were like, dang, that's awesome. But again, you know, they that set is phenomenal. Everybody, the cast down to the crew, they're so cool. As cool as they look on TV, they're that cool behind scene, which so freaking lucky, because that's not how it always is. And no, there was none of that. They're like really like I was like, no stupid, no question's a stupid question, you know? So I would ask all outrageous things, and they're like, you know, breaking it down for me.
That's pretty neat. And they're super talented too. That cast is amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like Titus, like I can't even, Mimi, like, oh my God. Maddie, who's like my other girl, like we go out Taco Tuesday. We're like three peas in a pod, not two. So that
was a big step up for her character.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, now she's kind of this, you know, I mean, she had the scenes on Bosch where she was being targeted and that stuff. But now, you know, she has to be much more physical in this role. I thought she did really good.
Oh my God. And just the work that she put in, from my knowledge, don't quote me on this, but I think she gained like 20 pounds of muscle and was
I believe it. She looked like she did. Yeah.
Yeah. She like really worked hard and studied and, you know, patrolled with people and like really, you know, with officers, and did her homework, and it shows. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Was it difficult on your parents because, you know, your character had a rough go of it?
Yeah. My dad skipped ahead and then went back to watch that episode. My dad made it to being a detective. So he saw my mom actually got hurt in the line of duty at 10 years. Yeah. So she didn't get to see us, I guess, as much as my dad did. So my dad was a homicide detective for 20 years.
So he's seen a lot.
Him seeing me get shot, he was like, it
had to be hard. I'd have a hard time as a parent.
Yeah. And the way they did it, he was like, on other shows, they make it very glorified, and it wasn't. It was fast. It was quick. It was exactly how it goes down. And he was like, that's how it is, within a blink of an eye. And you are like stuck. Like, did that just happen? You know what I mean? And he was like, it was he automatically giving me things to do. He's like, when you walk outside, watch your surroundings, like call me when you get there. I'm like, oh my God, Dad, it's a TV show. And he's like, it was so believable.
It really was. And you did such a great job with the role. I love the fact that, you know, like you gave a lot even without saying anything. Yeah. And then once that happened, it was very upsetting. I mean, it seemed real. You know, you're invested in this character and then they're hurt. It was difficult to watch.
No, definitely. I agree. And that's kudos all to the writers. You know what I mean? It's a lot when you can like sit in those silences in shows and you're still tuned in.
Right.
That's a lot. You don't need to fill all those beats. You know what I mean? It's a look. It's this. It's an emotion. It's how you feel. It's for me, Paulina. I wanted Paulina to be like everybody's homegirl. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was Maddie's friend, but I was everyone else's friend too.
Right.
Like I was rooting for her. I saw that, you know, she had a little thing going on at the relay race. And I was like, I was her homegirl. I was in it with her. We were boots together. And I really wanted to portray that.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And you're right. The best shows don't try to unnecessarily fill those spaces. Right. Just let it breathe.
Let it breathe, man. Let us take in what just happened.
Yeah. So how did this child of two police officers end up becoming an actor and not say, something in law enforcement?
You know, to be honest, my whole family is surrounded by law enforcement. So, you know, my uncles, all my uncles, my mom, my dad, everybody. Then my mom, when she retired, she went back to school and became a lawyer. So I'm like suffocated by love.
Because she didn't have anything better to do. Well,
Exactly.
might as well become a
Raise
lawyer.
kids, right? So thank God I just had the bug. It bit me. And at the age of 3 years old, I started off in beauty pageants. And I saw one of my friends on TV one day, and I think I was like 4, and I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And at the time, I grew up in Westchester, New York, so that's a little bit of a trucking down to the city. And my mom was not, but she was like, oh Lord, like she was not a stage mom. Like I remember my agent would call for commercials, and she'd be like, we're unavailable. Like, like she just was not pushing me in that direction, but supported me nonetheless. Anything I did, my mom and my dad, beauty, whatever I wanted to do. And they're like that with my brothers as well. Anything we want to do, we want to go, paint somewhere or whatever. Oh, I'm going to that paint event. You know what I mean? They are very, very, very supportive. And I was really the leading force. Like I come from theater. I was on Broadway, and this is just my thing. This is what makes me happy. This is where I feel like I can give back to the world, because telling stories, people don't realize it gets people through stuff. When you can relate, it can also, change the world, because you can see things from different points of views and sharing that love. And hey, look, you're not in this alone. You know what I mean? So it got me. I saw myself in a lot of actresses, and I was like, I can't wait to do that one day for somebody. So it's been a long haul for me, and I'm just, as many stories as I can get involved in, I'm doing it.
Do you sing? Do you dance?
Well, yes, I sing because I'm, the whole Broadway thing and stuff.
Right.
The dancing, I'm like, I'll do what I got to do.
Did you play sports growing up?
The only sport that I was really into, I'm actually a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, very nice. So
my whole life, besides from acting, I would go to an audition or whatever, be on set, and then go straight to karate class, because that was our thing. So all of my brothers were all black belts, and I love martial arts and what it stands for. And I think it really did help me in being, assertive in myself, and also like, this is who I am, and standing up for yourself in a positive way. They really, really teach that. Discipline is really important in those fields. And my son's in it now, because I'm like, they're like life lessons that are so important for individuals. So I'm grateful for that, because me getting that, it was like, all right, now I have a sense of self, and I'm like, I know where I am in the world, and I have that discipline for myself. So really
have you got to do any of your own stunts?
So Bosch was the first one where they had a double there to get shot. And I was like, no, I want to do it.
That means you've made it. You've made it then.
I wanted to do it so bad, and they let me do it, and it read. They were concerned that maybe, I guess it wasn't. She was so good.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys in. I was not driving that police car. That was over my head.
Yeah, it's amazing what stunt actors can do. It's amazing.
Yeah, she's so good. They're that's a whole nother craft. I can't wait though to one day do a role where I can use my martial arts skills. That would be cool. Just give somebody a flying hook kick one time.
It'll happen.
You hear that, God?
It'll happen. At some point, you'll be in like I don't know, there's like a billion Marvel movies. Maybe you'll get a role in that, and there you go.
You know what? It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was manifesting that. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time to be a Marvel. I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh, it needs to happen.
Either that or just totally like, let's do Bridgerton. That's it. One or the other.
Well, why not? That show's so popular. Why not?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one of my biggest things, and I think my passion is like trying to just get my hands on every type. I don't want to be boxed in. I want to touch. I want to transform, grow as an actor, and also be able to do so many different roles. Because if I get to do that, the girl coming behind me is going to be able
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I like that. You're paying it forward, breaking through some barriers. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a genre that you haven't got to do yet that you really want to do?
I would say those two. I think,
Yeah.
Action, something like that. Or, a period piece would be amazing.
Period piece would be pretty awesome.
Right? Oh,
Yes.
I have to start practicing because not great. That New York accent is so strong with me.
I understand accents, West Virginia accent. It's difficult to hide it.
Yeah.
So I get that. Yeah, you'd have to work on that, but you could do it.
No, it's rough, especially being an actor. You have to really have like a little toolbox of different accents that you can kind of pull it off. I try. I'm like, oh, please don't have me say coffee. Once I say that, that's it. Everyone's gonna know.
The one with West Virginians is we say you sit in the floor. So you don't sit on the floor, you sit in the floor.
Wow.
Which makes no sense, but everybody says that. That's the one people are like, what?
All right, I'm gonna write that down. If I ever play a West Virginian, I'm gonna be like, you better be sitting in that floor, boy. How did I do?
You might need to work on that a little bit. Although I'd have probably sat in the floor. You had that mom tone with you.
Do you guys say fixin'?
Yeah, we say fixin'.
I know that's like I lived in Florida for a little bit, so I'm like, I remember that. That's a Southern thing. I'm fixing to do this. Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize how thick an accent I had until I started talking with a lot of people on the West Coast or in Canada. And they're like, where are you from?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the minute I got on, I was like, there's a Southern accent there.
Southern accent. I was like, all right. I think the first time I saw you on something that I remembered was Home Economics. You did an episode of that.
I did. Oh my God. That was so awesome. That was one of my first, I was a child actor, but then I took a long break off, and that was my first like comedy thing back. So it's intimidating. Like you're around these big, huge comedy actors, and they're similar, but they really are two different kind of worlds, pacing wise, and how how the show moves. So comedy and drama, it's like you gotta be with comedy, you gotta be on it. So I was like, oh snap, girl, we're gonna do this, and I had so much fun. I was like a bartender who's trying to help her out, and
you were good on there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the first time I actually saw you was on ER, because I watched that whole series, so I know I've seen it. But that was a long time ago.
I was 15 years old, and oh my God, my little teeny bopper heart went pump, 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 because I was delivering a baby, homeless on the show. That's like the premise. And I had John Stamos on one leg holding me up and Shane West on the other.
Wow.
I literally like could not breathe. They had no idea, but I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. I was so in love. And then I was playing homeless on top of that. So you couldn't recognize me. I was like filthy from head to toe. But that was one of my really big TV roles, breakout roles. And it was hard. I knew how to deliver a baby before I actually delivered a baby.
Really?
All that research I did about it.
I guess that's true. If you're preparing for especially as a teenager, that you didn't want to look like you didn't know what you're doing. So I bet you really prepared.
Yeah, but you're never prepared for that. I'm like, even when it happened for me, my 5-year-old son, I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that.
Was John Stamos there?
Yes, he was. And he was nice. He was very nice. They're both very nice.
Now that's a man that has got pretty great hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm jealous of that.
And you know how you never really know how an actor or somebody or celebrity is going to look in person?
Yeah.
He is so handsome in person.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
Sometimes they look completely different, and it's
and he doesn't age. He still looks basically the same.
Nope, exactly. Oh my God. If I could run into him now, I'd be like, do you know I was in love with you?
So what caused the break? What were you doing in the interim?
So I believe I was about 17 or 18 and I was almost finished with high school. And I think there was a moment for me where it was like, I've been doing this my whole life and I wanted to make sure that this was really what I wanted to do. Because again, this was all my driving force. I didn't have like, my mom or my dad. I was just like, I need to figure out like, this is what I didn't go to a traditional high school. Like I never really got to like do that. And societal pressures, I would say, I'll just touch on like back then was very different than the way things are now.
Right.
In a sense of like, I'm a curvy Latina woman and it wasn't as accepted back then. And
it's amazing that it's changed that much in such a short period of time.
Yeah, big time. And I'm so grateful for that because growing up in that was hard. And I think I'm looking back, I'm like, damn, that was some really big awareness for me at 17 to be like, I need to back up. I know I love this so much, but like, I can't be growing up in this right now. Like, I need to like take care of me and make sure that like, this is really what I want to do. Are these comments just like particular to this field, or is this how it is like regularly? So I finished high school. I actually went to cosmetology school because I was like, it's
very nice.
Arts. Yeah. And then I got my cosmetology degree license. And then I went into the field for a year. Hated it. Hated it. I mean, I love beauty stuff, but I was like, oh my God, if I have to curl one more.
Well, it's different when you're doing it with somebody else instead of just yourself.
I think so. It didn't become like as fun anymore. But I'm like, every field you gotta really love because there's hard parts in everything, So I stopped that and then I was like, well, I'm gonna go to college. And so I went to college and I got my psychology degree. And
You've done quite a lot outside of acting. That's pretty great.
Yeah. So I was there. I worked in a treatment center for about a year. It was cool. It was actually really great for acting because I was dealing with people with mental illnesses and a lot of people that just wanted to talk to somebody. So I was like, wow, this is like, a class within itself. So I had a lot of fun, but it wasn't where my passion was. So that's my 5-year-old son.
I figured it was. I was like, I recognize
Mommy's
that
gonna do an interview now. So then I was like, you know what? I ended up having my son and I was like, I can't tell this kid, listen, go after your dreams or stop, and if I'm not going to do it. And I was like, and then what am I going to say? Like, I stopped doing it because I had some naysayers or someone saying like, this isn't for you or you don't fit a mold. So when he was about almost 2 years old, I think it was almost 2 years old, 2019, I got back into it. And I started from the ground up because when I was in acting before, there was no such thing as self-tapes. There was, I was coming from, all my connections were gone. They were either like cast directors moved on or whatever. So I started from nothing. I mean, again, I had that experience back then.
Right.
I had no agent, no manager, no research.
I mean, did that make you appreciate it more coming back into it?
It's one of my greatest accomplishments. Yeah, roles are great or whatever, but like I started from zero again and like literally was in class from 2019 to 2020, like just in class, just working on my craft. Just like I was hitting every T, like, what do I need to do? What's the next step? Networking, getting my pictures, I was jumping into as many student films as I could. And then 2021 hit and I just like flew. Yeah.
That's pretty great. What was the first, role where you got it and you're like, okay, I can still do this.
I'll let you know. So I got a role on Vita. And I played a chola. Funny thing is the two main characters, amazing. They were, again, I can't say, I'm still been so lucky that every actor that I've come across has been awesome and welcoming, and thank God. They're really tall, so they kept me across the street because I'm supposed to be bullying them. I'm only 5'1" over here, so I'm like, hey, whatever. And I'm like, you'll never know. I look, but so that was one of my biggest things. And I remember when I got to set and I did my first scene, I was walking off and I was nervous as hell because, again, I haven't been on set in so long, you know? So I was like, I forgot how things went. I literally forgot, like, they took like 100 shots of the same shot. Like, I just forgot so many things until you get to that set. And I remember I walked off and one of the writers pulled me to the side and they were like, hey, were you like a child actor or something? And I'm like, yeah, actually I was. And they were like, yeah, because the minute you came out like guns blazing, they were like, there's no way that we've never seen her before, but there's no way that she has not been around. Like those skills came back. And I was like, wow, it was so amazing to hear. And that was it. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm back, baby. So I think the biggest thing that like I'm really trying to advocate is like, I think I learned it from my mom, like going to law school after retiring. It's like, it's never too late. If you want to do it, you do it. Like you can do it. I promise you, if I could do it as a mom, as not being in the game for how many years and starting from ground zero and being where I am today, you can do it. Everybody can do it. If they follow your dreams, please don't listen to anybody and do it.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. So did you notice a change in entertainment like as soon as you got back, or did it take you a little while to say, okay, this is a little different than I did it last time?
Yeah, I think I still had a lot of those fears like during my training, but I think once I got to set, I was like, whoa, I'm seeing people that look like me. And I was like,
that's great.
This is like amazing. And I was like, wow. I mean, we could still make so many more strides, you know, but and I think that the whole pandemic thing made us all want to love each other and give people more opportunities. I think a lot of people just the judgment went down a lot, and like this perfectionism thing that they have for entertainment or just people in general. It was just like some grace, you know, and I'm really happy to be in the industry right now. And I'm excited to see where we're going to go. And I'm excited of the impact that I will make. I'm like putting that out there because I'm like pushing it forward, you know?
That's so terrific. I love that. We love you on This Is Us. Right?
That's another one. Oh my God.
I know. I was like, whoa, talk about a tear-jerking show. Every episode. I cry every episode.
It's rough. Could you imagine filming it?
No.
I'm like choked up in the corner. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It was so hard for me to keep it together. And like my role, I was just like so beyond grateful to be able to play, you know, an essential worker out there. And it's like what they had to do, nurses and doctors and all that stuff. I'm like, I just wanted to do them a little bit of justice. And it is so hard, their job.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And you do a really good job kind of portraying that. It's really, really, This Is Us. You can't binge watch that show. It's too emotional. One episode a day. That's max.
Seriously, because I'm like, I need to relax, you know, watch something happy for a second. Because I think, you know what it is? This is another show like Bosch is. It's very, very realistic and close to home. And I think that's why it's such a tearjerker. It's not like, you know, the fairy tale endings. It's like, this is what really goes on. And I was so grateful to be able to be Mandy Moore's Rebecca, who she plays Rebecca's caretaker on there, because she dealt with Alzheimer's. And that's really close to my heart. Both my grandparents dealt with that. And it's hard. And just like what it does on the family, and like that decision for them to like put her, like whether they're going to put her somewhere or they need to put someone in, you feel as like family, like you're failing them in a way. And you lose yourself, and it becomes like, I mean, you saw it in Miguel in the show where he was like losing himself and then ended up passing away from the stress that it is on taking care of another. It's really hard.
No, and it's a terrible place that unfortunately a lot of families have to go through. You know, that decision that you have to make. I mean, it just puts you in a no-win situation.
No, right. And I love that they did that, because not many shows will touch on stuff like that.
Right.
And again, it's all about being able to touch somebody out there that's going through the same thing. And if you can give them that hope, that's like, listen, I saw Rebecca on there and I saw her family, and it's like, we're gonna get through this. There's that happy end. And no, you're not failing them. This is just the way the circle of
That's
life
right.
life
That's
goes
it.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought, again, your facial expressions really good. Like you gave a lot with, even without speaking. I thought that was really good because that's, my day job's in a hospital. So I'm around nurses and doctors quite a bit. So I get to see that and, that the emotion's real, but they still have a job to do. You can't let it just immobilize you. You still got to work.
It's like you're choking because you want to cry with them, but it's like I was like literally like my tears were here, and it was like, but if I was not strong for them, they'd fall apart. So I was like, we need to make a decision, and we need to make a decision quickly, But it's like you also don't want to be insensitive. It's very hard, very very hard.
Yeah. Do you have trouble with your acting? Because your roles, some of them. It'd be very easy to kind of take those home with you. Do you have trouble with that, or are you good at leaving them on set?
You know what? I don't know if I can give you like a definitive answer because every role's different.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so different. And like sometimes I feel like things are so much closer to me, and then sometimes they're not. And then maybe sometimes they're too close to me where I kind of have like a little bit of a blockage. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I don't want to go there today. I'm telling you, and I think that's why I love acting so much, because every single time I have no idea how that scene is going to come out.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. All I can do is just be in the scene. I really try my best not to plan it out and go from there. And, the police, being Paulina was like that, getting that shot, I took there was a moment there for me. Like it was a little bit of stuff. Like, the same with the Alzheimer's thing, but then like, I did a movie over the summer, Mistletoe, Montana, and it was like, I was a rancher, guys. I took that home for months. I still listen to country music. I am like,
very nice.
I was born in New York, but like, I swear to God, I am a country girl from staying over there, being in that movie. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's pretty great. So we always play this game. Like when I'm having somebody on the show, I go around to the family. I'm like, what have you seen this person in? So my oldest, my daughter, that's what she said. She's like, Mistletoe, Montana? Yeah, she knew that's why, and she loved it because that's her thing. That's the type of movie she loves. So yeah, she was like, she's really good in that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So my son, he said you did an episode of iCarly.
I did, and that was really fun too. So I thought my boyfriend was gonna propose to me. It was actually for the seat next to me. So I'm like, oh my God, I won! and my boyfriend in the show is like, oh
uh-oh.
I'm like, it was so fun. And that was, I grew up on ICarly, so that was a dream.
Yeah, my son's same way. When it came back, he was so excited. Love that show.
It's just as good and crazy and fun and fire flowing and all kinds of things and food being flown everywhere. It's crazy.
So my mother, she says NCIS. She said you were like an officer on there.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a funny story about that. My son will watch the shows with me when I come on. He got up and got so mad. He goes, "Mommy, you were playing soldiers without me." And he ran to me.
Well, he's right.
He's like, and then, in his preschool, they have like a whole, for Mother's Day, they had this whole thing about me. And apparently I'm 256 years old. And he goes, and I play soldiers for a living.
Very nice. Yeah. Where do you think the age came from?
I have no. I'm like, dang, Benson.
Thinks you're a vampire, maybe.
Apparently 256 years old. I'm like, Jesus.
So outside of acting, are you creative in other ways? Do you paint? What do you do in your downtime?
Actually, that's usually my big, I write and I want to get more into writing and hopefully, I'm putting it out there. I want to direct one day and all that stuff. but that's really in my like acting world. But I have like a very like complete other passion. I'm an entrepreneur and I love business.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. That's what I do on my downtime. I own an ATM business, and I have
very
ATM
nice.
machines, all over Los Angeles. And I'm really into like, especially for being a creator, I feel like it's very important to have a sense of business and know that it ties hand in hand. And also, when you take the whole monetary thing out of being creative, you free up, man. So once
That's
I feel
true.
once I got it out of the way, like I have my own business that sustains me and I don't have to worry about booking this job. I was like, whatever. Like, they're calling back, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it takes that pressure off. And I strongly advise any actor out there, like, get something that you can, separate that, and you're able to like still do what you love, whether, whatever it is, just so you can be free in this creative world that's so special.
Yeah, I love that. Did you give the ATM machines a name? Did you like name them after your son or something, or are they just ATMs?
Yeah. So the business is called Benco Services. So kind of like bank, but like Ben, my son's name is Benson. And, I teach him all about it and he loves it. It's really great. Like, we go fill them up and once a month. And I'm already starting to be like, listen, you have to save up your money. You have to be able to have your own account and go and put the money in the bank. And it brings me so much joy to be able to like be independent, be my own boss, and show my son that, which I think that's like the lessons that I'm trying to teach him. Like, do what you want, be free, be your own boss. Like, you can do anything's possible.
Yeah, I think that's so terrific that you're able to pass that on. And that's like, speaking of life lessons, I mean, that's perfect. You found a way to supplement the income. So now you can be creative. And if it's successful, terrific. Mm-hmm. But even if it's not, you can still get something out of it because you don't have to rely on it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I did an audition this morning and I was like, damn, I'm really proud of that audition. Whatever happens, happens. But I know that I did the work. Like, I look at auditions like I've already done the job.
Yeah.
I did my job. And like now I don't know whose hands. I mean,
it's out there in the universe.
That's what I also love about there's the same reasons you will get a role are the same reasons you don't. She's 5'1". Oh man, she's 5'1". You know what I mean? She has curly hair. We really want someone with straight hair. Whatever it is, it's like you got to throw. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. So I'll tell you a quick ATM story, and I know we got to wrap up. So when I was in college, I owned comic book stores. That's how I put myself through college. And I loved it. Best. Yeah, it's the best job ever. But then I got married, started to have kids. Not as easy to survive on a comic book store when you're raising a family. So I had to go get a job, right? So my first job was at a bank. So it was my job to load the ATM machine, right? I had to put that in. Well, I put the 20s in the 5 slot. Which probably can't happen. Like now, it probably can't happen. But this was back in the 90s, so they were fairly new. Yeah. So I switched them. I put we lost some money on that. I have some older machines, so I know what you mean. And a lot of the times there's a computer there, so it's like if you tell them that there's 5s in there, and then there's actually 20s or vice versa. You're in big trouble.
You're in big trouble.
We lose a lot of money.
We had, a customer caught it fairly early and was honest enough to tell us, because we wouldn't have known. It just would have shown up at the end of the day when my drawer was way out of whack. And it was still off. We still lost some money, but I was lucky. It's kind of funny now, but at the time, not so great.
So what happened?
Nothing happened. I didn't get fired, but it only, I think, because it was caught fairly early. And I don't remember. I don't think there was any actual consequences. It was just like, dumbass.
Thank God.
But when you're early 20s trying to get started and you make a mistake like that, I mean, it can be devastating.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
it wasn't, but it could have been.
Yes, especially nowadays, I think they're a little more stricter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It would have been
For
bad.
sure. Yeah, it would have been bad. Well, Danielle, thank you so much. This has been the best. I knew you'd be fun and just terrific. And I think you're the best actor. I'm so excited to see you going forward because really, even though you had the childhood acting, you're fairly new back to it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting.
I'm new, guys. I'm in the game, and I look at myself as like new fish in the pond.
You could maybe you could get a spinoff as a cop in a show.
You hear that?
It'd be fun
Give me that.
because your officer, she survives, right? Like, I think they kind of hint.
Hospital right now, guys.
That's right. You're in the hospital, so they hint that she's not gone yet. So you could still come back. You could be, my feeling is they're going to bring you back and then deal with the after effects.
Yeah.
There's
some big stuff going on, and there's some mistakes that were made on. Yeah, and it's what's going on nowadays. So I think. I think. I don't want to disclose. We'll see.
I know. But that's my theory is what we're going to see. But if we don't, that would make a really good show. If they spun her off and like she's given up being a police officer because it was just too traumatic, but at some point she's kind of pushed back into it.
Listen, I'll take it. Whatever's coming, I'll take it. Well, it means I have to come back so we can talk about if your prediction was right.
You have to. When the new season comes out, you have to come back for sure. So a couple quick things before you go. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
No, I think that's it right now. Yeah, you did great.
Well, that's a lot. Okay, so last thing, where can we find you on social media?
On IG at Danielle Larracuente, which I know my last name's long, but you guys can get it, I promise. You can find me on there.
That's good though. It's a very Hollywood name, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name, last name is very rare where it's like, if you have my last name, we're probably related. I'm like, I don't know anybody in Kentucky, but probably.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's also a good police name, I think.
Yeah. Which is great. Like both my parents are like, Officer Larracuente,
Yeah, it's cool. It sounds cool.
I think so too.
That's pretty good. So Instagram, any others?
No, not at the moment.
Instagram's the best.
Get into Twitter, man.
No, that's the angry one. Instagram's the nice one. You put the good stuff on. Facebook's kind of the one that's been around the longest, and then Twitter, you only do that when you're mad.
Okay, well then maybe I don't have to.
But no TikTok? You're not TikToking?
You know what? I do have TikTok. I'm not very popular on there. Well, let me check and see what my name is. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm on there too, but
I'm silly on there.
I'm just on there so I can kind of watch, what the kids are doing. I'm not really doing anything.
How do I even find out what my name? Okay, it's at Danielle Larracuente.
Oh, easy enough.
Yeah. I'm on TikTok, guys. Follow me.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
now
very silly.
You're gonna have to come up with more stuff because now you'll get a bunch of other followers.
Oh my God, the pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
I'm like trying to be funny really bad.
That could be funny if you're trying.
Yeah, but those videos are hard.
I've tried
to do a couple.
They're really hard, and the dances are, to me, they seem impossible. The people doing them are terrific at them, but they just seem impossible to me.
Yeah. I actually, the last video, I'm just looking now. I'm like, I ended up pranking my brother. There's a prank. There was one of the tags going around. It was like the premium air prank, where you tell somebody that's like into cars, like, oh, they charged me $200 for premium air. And my brother's mouth like dropped to the floor.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He's like, what did they do to you?
They've taken advantage. I need to talk to somebody.
No, you know what? Such a sibling answer. You know what he ended up saying in the video? He's like, I need to meet this guy. I want to hire him. It's like, I'm like, well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the help. Older brother or younger?
Older.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally like, of course you're going to get fooled. I got to meet this guy.
Well, Danielle, thank you so much. And definitely you have to come back.
I definitely will. I definitely will.
Yeah, this has been the best.
Yes, you have a wonderful day.
Oh, you too. You too. Okay, hold on. That was the talented Danielle Larracuente. So happy that she came on the show. I'm such a fan of hers. I love her energy. She's very positive. She's always, she's not just in it for herself. So she's looking out for other people. She's paying it forward. She's aware of, her representation. I think she's just terrific. And I can't wait to see what she has coming up next. Just really talented. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't done so yet, we could really use the help on our YouTube channel, Meisterkhan Pod. If you would subscribe, we really appreciate the help. You can find all 400 plus, I can't believe it, but 400 plus episodes, audio and video on our website, meisterkhan.com. There's a terrific blog that Brett does that's funny. It's well written. It's, if you're geeky, it's so geeky. It's just the best. That's on there. If we're doing anything in studio, like this weekend, we've got a festival outside the studio. We'll be hosting some events in the studio, so that'll be on there. If we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, all that'll be on the website, meisterkhan.com. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye everybody. So before I go, I have to help out one of my favorite podcasts. So I'm gonna read a little bit. So you'll see me glancing over because I don't have it memorized, but they're so good, and I want you guys to know about them. So if you think law-related podcasts are boring or overdone, think again. Air quote Law Pod isn't your average law podcast. That's true. It's really good. Join these three witty attorneys as they banter on about all sorts of random current topics, and sometimes they discuss law. New episodes drop weekly, and you never know what they'll be talking about next. Listen to Air Quote Law Pod wherever you listen to podcasts. I think you guys will enjoy that. Thanks, everybody. Bye.